Showbiz channel, and it's over to Jamie.
Today, in an Ozone special, we try to answer the question everyone's asking. What will the Spice Girls do after Geri?
Girls will again be performing without Ginger tonight.
Speculation that Geri Halliwell is leaving the Spice Girls.
Scary, sporty, baby and Posh were there, but no Ginger.
Not very well tonight, so get well soon, Geri.
Geri Halliwell, otherwise known as Ginger Spice, has confirmed that she has left the Spice Girls.
Something has changed, isn't there? There's something different, isn't there?
There's more room on the couch.
There's more room on the couch. Where's Geri gone?
Where's Geri gone? Where's Geri gone? Well, everyone knows. She's left us, she's moved on to do other things. But, you know, we're right behind her in everything she does, and we know she'll do well.
Do you know how upset I am that you drove her out to the band?
We did not drive her out. Do you know how, and I mean, I know, you know, we feel mostly for our fans, like yourself, Jamie,
yeah.
Our fans, you know. Yeah. And, but I know they're upset and they miss her, but she's one of our best friends and we miss her like crazy.
Loath to swallow the party line, the Ozone sought professional help to try to discover the true reasons for Geri's departure.
I personally think Geri left the Spice Girls because there was nothing more she could achieve with the Spice Girls.
Any 4 or 5 people spending a huge amount of time together is not a natural relationship. I mean, you know, everyone knows how hard enough it is in a marriage.
I can't say it impacted enormously on my day to hear that Geri was leaving, but I wanted to be told why, because I wanted to be able to talk to the taxi driver about it.
Maybe she wasn't happy with their direction. Maybe she wanted to go one way and they wanted to go another.
I think as more and more the Spice Girls story became about performing live and going around the world and proving themselves on stage, it became less and less about Geri and more about some of the other members of the band.
But the thing is, because you all get on together so well, I've known that for years and years, how you must have known a while ago that she wasn't maybe too happy.
No, she just wanted to move on.
No, she just wanted to go on, I think. It wasn't a whole big thing of where she's unhappy, it was nothing like that. It was just that she felt, you know, Geri's very, you know...
spontaneous.
Yeah, and she just went to do her own little thing.
But the first the public knew of Geri's strawberry blonde bombshell was when a mere 4/5 of the Spice Girls turned up for the National Lottery draw.
When the 4 girls appeared on the lottery, I think they were still, I think they still believed that Geri would come back, that she was genuinely ill, that this was all a passing phase. I don't think for a minute they thought, right, this is our first chance without her, let's go for it.
Yes, I still remember every whispered word, the touch of your skin giving life from within.
They'd just done a show in Scandinavia somewhere. They'd got back, they arrived at the lottery and they were told that Geri's car had gone to Geri's house and failed to pick up passenger. At that stage, they were still unaware, as the rest of us were, as to what was really happening. I got a phone call here at Smash Hits from Melanie C a day and a half after it was all reported, and she was genuinely shocked. I mean, at that stage, it was the final announcement hadn't been made. It was still a stomach upset, and they would, you know, she sounded genuinely, you know, surprised at how things were developing.
But I want to know, what did she say when she said that, you know, on that day?
Funny enough, she didn't.
She didn't tell us.
Well, she must have.
No, you know, we can't say too much except for, you know, but we can sing it. Ha!
Oh, is it like a legal thing that you're not allowed, one of them things?
It's one of them things. Let's just move on.
I think it'll be a question of what comes out in 2 months' time, when Geri's embargo runs out and the Spice Girls embargo, and you know they're allowed to talk about it in a couple of months' time.
I think Geri Halliwell leaving the Spice Girls is going to make absolutely no difference to their... I mean, they're going to have a natural life expectancy. it's a bit like an analogy of how long are you going to go before you have a facelift, really? You know, how long before you're going to call in the plastic surgeons? How crinkly do you want to get? And I think that they should just do it until it's not fun anymore, then stop.
I think it's tough, you know, because this tour, it's been hard, it's grueling, do you know what I mean? Physically, emotionally and mentally. And, you know, sometimes if it's just too much and you don't want to do it anymore, then don't do it, you know what I mean?
And there's bound to be one that's going to be more kind of controversial than the other, and I certainly understand. She was obviously the much older one, though she maintains she's considerably younger. And I should imagine, you know, that she felt motherly. They might have taken it the bad way. They might have, you know, inferred that she was too bossy or whatever.
We're super happy camp. Geri's, you know, a lot happier now. She's got a lot more time, but we're still all great mates.
Despite becoming the focus of a paparazzi feeding frenzy, Geri has resolutely refused to discuss why she left the Spice Girls and what she plans to do next. She declined to be interviewed for this programme, her only comment to date being a terse press release, promising that she will be back.
If I was advising Geri, then my advice would have been to get things in place before you leave.
I haven't studied it sufficiently to know what her assets are, apart from the two obvious ones that sort of seem to pop up every now and again.
My instinct is that it came to a head quickly, and therefore maybe she wasn't prepared.
She's probably made enough money to go and open up a chain of video shops in Essex and be very happy for the rest of her life.
Now that she's an ex-Spice Girl, Geri finds herself thrust back into the job market. But having previously worked as a cleaner, a glamour model, an aerobics instructor, a game show hostess and a cage dancer, there's no end of trades to which she can turn her hand.
If Geri came to me for a job, would I hire her? I suppose I would, but obviously I've got to interview her. I mean, I enjoy doing what I'm doing, so I mean, I shouldn't see why she should be that upset to go back to a job which she previously did.
I think Geri was an all-round excellent performer. I think she knew what she was doing because she had the background training of doing aerobics and cage dancing, and that gives you a lot of confidence. Cage dancers do a lot of agile moves, which incorporates a lot of floor work, turns, spins, kicks, everything like a bit of adage as well to make it really interesting. I don't think she'd like to go back to doing that because that is like a preliminary stage that you go through before you're going to join a band.
Gosh, if I heard Geri was doing a class down the local sports centre, out of pure nosiness, I would have to go. If Geri had to go back to aerobics instructing full-time as her job, I think the money factor would be really, really hard. Also regularity. You know, she'd have to be somewhere at a certain time, and I don't think, I mean, I know they had their schedules, but people would actually be waiting for her in a class, and if she wasn't consistent, they'd be really disappointed, and then the centre would lose members.
I think Geri would find it very difficult to adjust if she went back to glamour modelling now. She's had the experience of all the crazy fame to do with the Spice Girls and everything. People look for different qualities in glamour models now than they did a few years ago. They want very sweet and innocent and pretty looking girls, and I don't think Geri's really got the right look anymore. I think, to be honest, I'd advise her not to do it. I'd tell her that she was much better than going back to being a glamour model, and because she's already got that fame, there's no reason why she can't move forward and go into TV presenting or even launch a singing career on her own.
What do you think she's going to do?
I think she'll do anything she wants to do. Who knows?
She'll do anything.
She's
anything.
No, she's got lots of dreams and ambitions, like all of us.
Yeah, that's what I meant. She could. Oh God, I think that's so wrong. She could do anything.
Look, people are saying that she's going to do TV.
I think she
would. She would be good on TV.
Yeah.
I think Miss Geri could probably present things. I think she could go on a cable channel and she could possibly talk about consumables for the younger person. Not quite the My Little Pony set, somewhere between My Little Pony and Barbie and, you know, that sort of world.
This is the fashion police, and baby, you're busted. What's your name? Maria. Well, Maria, what are you wearing? You're in a serious need of a makeover. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're in for it, we've got a fashion editor, we've got Henny's, all at your disposal. Do you want to do it? Let's go, yeah? Okay, let's go for it.
I think it
if I'd been Geri's producer and I'd seen that as a first performance, I'd be quite pleased.
Move over Madonna, she's going to have a bear eye.
I would say her strength's really good at running. She's very in your face.
She's stark naked. Boys, do you want to have a look? I don't think so.
She's not actually listening to anyone else.
Look at this lovely flat stomach. And she's hiding.
And if she's interviewing, that's a slight disadvantage. You do have to listen to other people. But she's got star quality. When she's on the screen, you look at her. I think she's got what it takes.
Oh, yes, she's looking good.
The chances of Geri becoming the next Esther are pretty good. Well, I haven't been very well, and there have been one or two other people presenting my show. And I actually could see that if Geri were to take it over, particularly in a rather low-cut dress, rather high heels, I think people would watch for fun. So I hope she doesn't, because I'm not sure there'd be room for me when I got back.
But before she rose to the stellar heights of live TV, Geri was full of Eastern promise, delighting audiences on the Turkish version of The Price is Right.
What I think makes a good game show hostess on The Price is Right, I think, is somebody who basically, I think, got to be an extrovert. You can't be camera shy. You've got to enjoy performing and use it and try and use it as a stepping stone.
A pair of stone-carved giraffes. This beautiful carving of a mother and her baby is made by the Kisi tribe of West Kenya.
Realistically, do I think Geri will want to be a game show hostess? I don't think for one moment she will. I think we'll be quite surprised. I think we're going to see a very sophisticated Geri. I think she's completely changing her image. I think you're going to see a much more calmer, sophisticated, I'm back, but I'm here, take me seriously. And she's going to, I think she'll probably go into acting. And I think, you know, you're going to know about her.
I think she'll do films, TV, you know, production, things like that, but I don't really think she wants to sing.
The chances of Geri Halliwell becoming a movie star are as near nil as you can possibly get.
Don't worry, I know all about home delivery.
Yeah, right.
Well, I read it in a book.
In a great film actress, you look for believability. You look for somebody who you rarely believe is the character they are on the screen, but at the same time has a certain ongoing allure, so the public can say, well, I like this lady, whatever she plays.
Okay, the first thing to do is, put your legs together. Well, that's a bit late. She should have done that 9 months ago.
I can't believe anybody is going to wake up in the morning in the movie business and say, we really must star Geri Halliwell in a film. This isn't going to happen.
Get up! Excuse me!
The advice I would give to Geri if she wants to get into movies is very clear. She's obviously got a bit of money at the moment. Find a writer to write something for you that you feel comfortable with and promote this material with yourself attached to it. She either has to do that or join the Red Cross or something.
This is my favourite Spice Girls song.
Is it?
Well, that must be your, what, 408th number one?
Seven.
So, I mean, that just goes to show that everyone's still behind you back home.
I know, that is quite
cool.
mad as well, because we're aware. So, you know, it's nice and it's reassuring for us to think, you know, people are still,
they still love us
rooting for us.
Viva Forever, for me, was like a perfect Spice Girls single. You know, it summed up the mood they were in at the time. Geri had left, but she was still part of that song, and it was still a big gang feeling. You could still listen to it and go, oh, I love the Spice Girls.
Were you ever worried about it maybe not getting to number one because of, you know, the things that have happened?
I mean, obviously, as Melanie said, it's difficult, you know, when you're away trying to promote a single. But, I mean, I don't know, I think this is one of the singles, I think it sort of speaks for itself, this song.
It proved yet again to an army of critics that, you know, they could do it. Their songs were great, that their army of fans hadn't deserted them. It was the biggest selling single in 1 week this country's had this year. So it wasn't just number one, it was number one by a long way.
I think you can never expect something to go to number one. You can never expect it because you just don't know, do you, what the competition is out there, if people are going to like it. But as long as, I mean, between the four of us, we like our music, so we just hope that people enjoy it as much as we do.
But I tell you, if this is your favourite Spice Girls song, wait until you hear the Christmas one.
Yeah, we've just finished recording our Christmas single.
We've done it in Nashville. But it's lovely, we're really proud of it. It's a really sentimental song, it's in there. It's a lovely big ballad, especially for Christmas.
Got a bit of a yodel.
No, you just made that up, didn't you?
Yeah, but we do line dancing to it, so watch out steps.
We don't do line dancing in it.
Viva Forever we think we'll do summer holidays, you know, and I think Christmas songs are special because you always remember Christmas.
But it'll be a hat trick, won't it, if you do it? If you get
No, don't talk. Don't
say that. I didn't say that. We'll cut that bit out. I won't say it.
You can't talk about that because you just never know.
Spice Girls fired their manager, Simon Fuller, on Bonfire Night last year. He was in bed at the time, recovering from a slipped disc. The 4 remaining Spice Girls now claim to manage themselves, whilst Fuller is rumoured to have walked away with a £15 million severance deal. But has it been easier or more difficult since Simon...
Oh, much easier. I think it's a bigger workload, but we're a lot happier. So when you're happy, everything's easier. Yeah.
Because everyone said that it was Geri that got rid of Simon.
No, it wasn't.
Is that the truth?
I think with everything we do, you know, there's 5, well, there was 5 people, and, you know, everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses, and a decision can't just be made by one person. You have to check it and check it and check it with every one of us, because it's like we always say, you know, it's a group thing. It's not anything, like, you're not stood there by yourself, it's a group.
I think also, you know, I mean, Geri was good at standing up and talking, so that's what she used to do. And a lot of people thought that that meant that, you know, she was the one who kind of cracked the whip, if you like, and you couldn't live like that.
I think there's many reasons why they wanted to leave Simon Fuller. Probably the biggest one is that they probably wanted more control, to be honest. A manager will earn as much as the band does normally. I think they probably found it a bit frustrating that they were up there sort of singing and dancing 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and he was pocketing exactly the same amount of money they were. Also, I mean, the whole, you know, thing about girl power and being in control, as long as there was a, you know, a man, sort of Svengali, as it were, behind the scenes, even if he was pulling the strings or not, the whole industry would see them as a bit of a joke. And I think they wanted to prove to everyone that they were the talent.
12 months ago, it seemed that you couldn't lick a lollipop, sip a cola, or open a bag of crisps without seeing a Spice Girl staring back at you from the packaging. But did the Spice Girls make themselves seem tacky by sticking their faces all over the shop?
Next stage, next grade, next wave. Welcome to a brand new station. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, hello. You look like a nice guy.
Get into your very own Spice World with PlayStation. What are we going to do now?
You haven't been doing many product endorsements.
That's because I do sponsorship now. It's quality, not quantity, Jamie, now.
But you have you stopped doing it? No, you stopped it. Have you?
No.
We haven't stopped it.
It's
but
just, we do bits and bobs. Yeah, we do bits and bobs, but, you know...
Because there was a time, wasn't there, when you were doing like so many things.
A bit busy now, though.
But
I think it was in demand at that time. Do you know what I mean? We didn't do anything we didn't want to do, and we were doing sort of, you know, the things that the children, lollipops, crisps, you know. So it was in demand at that point.
At the height of the sponsorship for Argo, you know, there was the Spice Girls empire. Certainly there was, you know, we were getting the odd letter here at Smash Hits from parents saying, how can we be expected to keep up with all this? You know, my daughter, she got the record, she got the video, now she wants the duvet and the protractor and the helicopter and the, you know, and the wombat and everything, whatever else they're sponsoring. And to a certain extent, I think they were spreading themselves a bit thin.
I do think that it appeared that there was too much sponsorship, too much of them everywhere and anywhere. You couldn't open, you know, a magazine, you couldn't switch on television, it seemed, hear the radio without them endorsing. But that's their management.
I think the Spice Girls merchandising was completely brilliant, just wonderful, and it's globalism, and it's a real tribute to British talent. And I enormously admire EMI for doing it, enormously admire whoever their manager, bloke they got rid of, for doing it. It's the best thing about them, and quite sincerely, it's the most wonderful thing about them, the way they've been sold, and I admire that wholeheartedly.
People will think, well, you know, do they need this? All the money they're making, all that to be endorsing this, endorsing that, endorsing, they're greedy. They can't turn down an offer.
The fact that you're not doing many now would suggest to me, with my inquisitive mind, that perhaps you didn't want to do it in the first place, but when you were with your old management, you felt forced to do it.
That is quite a good...
Yeah, I mean, it was something... It was
stupid, you know.
Something that we did then, but, you know, when we, you know, took the bull by the horns, as we say, ourselves. There was other things that we thought was,
more
you know,
important.
into the, more time and energy into the things that we are more interested and what are more important to us, which is like our music.
No, because you've been quite busy recently, because you've been in the studio with Missy Elliott.
Yeah, I have, yeah. She had a track, because she's produced the whole of this soundtrack for this movie, with based on Frankie Lyman's life, and she just chose what people she wanted to do these certain tracks. And you've got, like, there's Usher on there, Destiny's Child, Mace, and she just asked if I would do it.
I think overall, most artists will be very bored, you know, on this one-to-one kind of relationship they've got with each other, and I think they will venture out, and I think that they will still endeavour to put colour and excitement in their lives, and why shouldn't they?
The collaborations I don't think will split the band up as such. I think what they will do is allow each girl to dip their toe into their future careers, perhaps.
There's one moment on the song where, towards the end, where you start talking when you say, I want him back, or maybe I don't want him back. Oh no, I don't want him back, you can do your own thing. And I wondered whether that was a dig at Geri. Am I reading into that?
No, the whole track is about a man. It's about Geri. No. Before anybody gets any ideas, it's not about that.
I like it when he goes.
But in terms of what individually I'm talking about, if Mel's doing this thing with Missy, does that mean that you're going to pair off with others?
There's things that come up all the time, you know, and you know, if we like it, then you know we'll
I'm going to do a duet with David. Like Kylie and Jason did, yeah, the time.
We was wondering if you wanted to join us and all four of us could do it.
Yeah, that'd be good. It all kicked off with Posh and Beckham. Scary and her Spice Boy dancers soon followed. These girls score more often than Michael Owen.
I think the affinity between young female singers and footballers is that they have approximately the same amount of money, and people like to marry people with the same amount of money as themselves, or a bit more, and people who both have quite a lot of money are hugely drawn to each other. It's the power of what I call the wolf pair.
How is David, by the way? Is he all right?
Fine.
When are you going to get married?
Next year.
Have you organised a date yet?
Yes, don't be nosy.
Mr. Wright married a Beverley sister way back in the 50s. So the precedent, you know, of that show business and big sport is well established.
Anyway, he's all right, because bless him, he hasn't had an easy time.
He hasn't had an easy time. Everybody hasn't been that, you know, well, whatever.
Yeah, England.
Yeah, England. You getting married?
No.
You know?
Don't lie. That's what the son said. He hasn't had
it. Have you not asked her yet?
No.
Do the noble thing and get down on one
I heard
thing.
you're going to get married.
Oh, switch the tables, why not, eh?
Well, I'm asking the questions. I've heard you're going to are you engaged, is that right?
Yeah.
When are you going to get married?
Don't know.
This year?
Don't know, it's not really on, kind of... Don't know.
So what's it like with him jigging around behind you on stage?
Oh, he's not jigging tonight because he's hurt his back. Again. Oh, don't raise the eyebrows.
Melanie's a beast. She's scary and she hurts
injury.
But Mel, I want to know, are you scared?
No, but that's my name, man.
That's the new one we just started laughing at.
Oh dear. So that's it, we've pretty much covered all boyfriends.
That is apart from Melanie.
Apart from Mel.
I haven't got a boyfriend at the moment.
Liar.
Yeah, you always say that. You're such a liar.
She has.
You are such a dark horse, because throughout your career I've monitored when your boyfriend situation, you always say, yeah, I should get out more. I know. And I know that you always say that you haven't got a boyfriend, and you always do that thing where you go, oh, I can never get boyfriends.
She's gagging.
I really want. And I know you are lying. You are.
It's completely true. It's
Well,
sad.
I think that we can say that.
So what do you think you're going to be doing this time next year?
Well, sitting on a beach. I'm going to be getting ready for a wedding.
Oh yeah, it'll be about that time, won't it?
About that time.
I can't wait for that. Is Geri going to come?
Yeah, she probably will. Yeah.
Yes, you are. Like a little boy.
He's fascinated it all, isn't he?
I just think it's extraordinary. But the thing is, you just hear all these like there was some like stories like that you were fighting all the time.
No.
And then you'd smack him and he said, "That's it, I'm leaving." That's what
we have fights, but we all.
How could she have hit Jerry?
How could you ever hit anyone, eh?
I don't know. When the moment takes you and the temper's rising high, who knows?
You want to get some blood on
Yes!
What's the plan next then? What's next for
the album? When we get back
Right.
in the studio.
A bit of a break.
In the album.
Hold on, a break.
Yeah,
when we get back.
I was going on to that.
Last time that we had this conversation.
Is there a plan for another film?
Well, obviously, we really enjoyed doing Spice World. But if we do, we haven't said definitely, but if we do, it'll be something completely different.
Right.
But you know what we was talking about before? You know about like,
So that's,
you know, like doing
we haven't given
collaborations, going off individually and doing things.
Yeah.
Maybe in films we'll have a little go and go off. And
Who knows? It's one of them.
Ooh.
What are you going to do next?
I was trying to work out, right, the amount of records that you've sold, 35 million albums. The film was, what, 10 million? All the other bits and pieces you've been doing. You must be...
We're not as rich as everybody says.
You are!
No, we're not.
More so!
Wait a minute, we heard in the paper, somebody wrote in the paper the other day that we all had 12 million each.
Yeah.
That is not
we wish.
If you put two and two together, you will see what our friendship is for.
There were people who were saying, when you finish at Wembley, that was going to be it for you. That you were going to
I
all
think-
go your own separate way.
Do you know what? Do you know what's really every single time something's gone? You know,
They always
obviously,
say it's the
when
end.
we got rid of our manager, it's the end. When Jerry is, it's the end. Everything we've ever done, it's the end for us.
It could go on indefinitely. Common sense would suggest perhaps they've got one more album which they're working on, have been working on for some time. I'd imagine they'll, you know, do a bigger and better tour around the world and maybe have a greatest hits album out after 3 albums.
I think the future for the Spice Girls is almost certainly California. It's in the nature of the thing.
When Spice finishes, what do you
Spice
think?
will never
No, but it will, won't it? I
No,
mean,
well,
or the
well-
band, when you decide to do...
I mean, this is our plan, Jane.
Right.
Right. We intend, because we're really good friends, we intend to be together, you know, as friends forever. As
Forever.
Jerry still is a friend of ours, you know, whatever. And anyway, we're always like going to be making albums together. But of course, like we want to grow as individuals and do stuff like that as well. So we'll go off on our own, like Melanie's just recently done with Missy. We'll be doing bits and bobs like that. But then we'll always come back to the little gang and do our little Spice Girls thing, you see.
You know, we're not talking about like a fine cheese or a wine here, or maybe we are really with cheese. It either communicates on one basic level or it doesn't. And I think the minute they start to get serious, I think they will have a lot of problems.
I think the change from being the vital pop group, they're not the most exciting thing. There are like bands like Bewitched and Billy, but the Spice Girls have become like a soap opera, I think, to a lot of our readers.
I'm a pop-tart. I love pop music. I love ABBA, you know, I love anything that's disposable and fun. And I think that the Spice Girls in the last few years have epitomised that. And I think that I'll be a fan all the time they continue to make good, trashy records.
So, that's it. Now they are 4. Or might there be 5? Victoria's keeping mum, but if you believe today's papers, there might be a second Baby Spice on the way. Gucci is sure to be working on designs for a little strappy nappy.
You know, one day, when a Saturday stretches like a desert before me, and there's absolutely nothing to do, I do swear I'm going to go into Blockbuster and get Spice World. I just will.